Copilot for Microsoft Fabric includes not just Power BI. Copilot in Microsoft Fabric also supports data engineering and data science and data factory. So like a quick data factory example, suppose I have data with the with the heights of Netwoven employees. Suppose Yana is 6'3" tall, and I've got a column, and it's a text column with a 6 and an apostrophe and the 3 and the quotes. And what I really want is 72 inches as an integer, right? You can just hand that to Copilot for Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric, and it will do that transformation for you, right? Likewise, and we've got a couple slides in a demo to show you what these other Copilots are capable of, even during the public preview. Now, this orange square in the upper right corner does call attention to the fact that Copilot in Microsoft Fabric is performance intensive. We require an F64 or a Power BI Premium P1 to sort of light up that capability. But let's get into the capability. Can I have the next slide, please? What we did with the data science workload is, again, make it easier to get started. Enable more people to use the capability, save time, save money. These copilots understand Python, they understand your data frame, and they're capable of doing some really interesting things. Next slide, please. And on this slide, you'll see it's super easy to get started. You basically hit the Copilot button, circled in red in the upper right corner. It inserts some libraries, they're Python libraries, whatever. I don't know Python, and that's okay. And it connects your data frame and your notebook to the Copilot. Next slide, please. And in this Copilot, it can help you out. You can literally see in the red box, I didn't write any code. It's like, can you help me out? Can you provide me with a logistic regression model for this data frame? And like, well, yes, you can see below, it did it right. It imported the libraries. It defined the feature and the target. It created the model. It created it separated your data into test and training, and it measured. It does all that, measuring the efficacy of the model compared to the test trainings. I didn't do anything. I mean, I just prompted it. It's literally miraculous. And I know I'm kind of hypey here, but I've never seen anything like this. Frankly, it's pretty astounding. Next slide, please. The other great thing is it can help you be more productive. It can help you learn. It can document your code. Not that any of us on the phone ever fail to document our code, but here, analyze this data frame. What's in here? What should I do? What would be a good approach? And it's got the entire power of the large language model behind it to explain all of this stuff to you, in addition to writing the code. It's just astounding. Next slide, please. So with Power BI, what we've done is we've increased the productivity of new users and lowered the barrier to entry, where you can literally start from a blank slate, a blank piece of paper, and get a well-designed presentation. And if I may, I'd like to share my desktop really quick, so we can take a look at that. I think we have time here, so please let me know if you can see my desktop. Okay, am I live here?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this should work. If it doesn't, I've recorded a video that does it. Again, this is public preview, but I'm using something a little fresher. And what I'm going to do is I'm in Power BI, and I'm going to look at this data set here. And, I'm going to start from scratch. It's like, well, now what? Right? It's blank. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start the Copilot. And there is a disclaimer here. If you look at the data model in the upper right corner, right, this is a good data model, right? Netwoven did it right. It's a star schema, facts in the middle, dimensions, understandable names. And so what I'm going to do is hit the Copilot button, and it'll suggest some helpful prompts here. I mean, I could type a prompt in here. This is my prompt, whatever, but it's going to start by suggesting content for the report. So just as the co-pilots for data science and data engineering looked at your data frame and told you what it thought, here the large language model is going to look at this data model and it's going to make some suggestions. It goes, hey, why not sales performance by category? Analyze how different product categories contribute to sales revenue and units sold over time. How does it know this? Well, it's in the data model. I've got the sales revenue and units sold right here. I've got time in a calendar table. I've got, a product hierarchy, so I'm just going to say, sounds good. This create button here speeds things up a little bit. It's going to generate this new page. And I do want to take a second and talk about Kartik's Power BI report because it's awesome. Obviously, Kartik's a pro, but I just want to call out some of the things that made this Netwoven Power BI report so awesome. Great use of white space, the filters across the top, the rule of thirds, where you've got the 1/3 on the left and the 2/3 on the right. That if you don't know Power BI, you might just think, oh, it looks good. But if you are familiar with visualization technology, you recognize that Kartik did it right. And the reason I wanted to show that is because the Power BI Copilot is implementing some of the best practices that Kartik used. So here, again, you're going to see the slicers across the top of the report. You're going to see the rule of thirds here, the good use of white space, the KPIs across the top. So it's a very good start. Now, I might still tweak some stuff here, right? So that's why we call it Copilot instead of autopilot. Like here, this parts to the whole visual, units sold by category. I might use a tree map here or something like that. So again, it's a great start, but you can still come in here and edit it. So the first way Copilot for Power BI and Microsoft Fabric saves time is with report creation. It can also help in the analysis, and here's how. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create some space by deleting these visuals, and I'm going to insert this smart narrative. And so I'm summarizing the contents of this report, and it's got some suggested prompts like answer likely questions from leadership, or I could type, right? I could say use positive, upbeat language and emojis, right? Maybe that's how my company likes to communicate. And I can iterate over this a couple of times. But now what it's going to do is help me save time on the analysis of the report and the communication of the contents of the report to senior leadership and other stakeholders that maybe they're not going to open the report. They're going to say, chestnut it out. And so here, it's done a great job summarizing this. It's broken out, and I'll just zoom in here for the grand finale. Leadership is likely to ask a few questions based on this data, like what are the best-selling products? Are there any specific patterns? What needs fixing? What's low? And here it is, all in language with emojis. Maybe that last part's a little bit rich, but there it is. And I basically did nothing, couple of mouse clicks. So thanks for your time.